Good evening, my friends, and welcome to my channel. I have been able to clean my tea table enough to do a recording. I have been asked to show how I did these flowers that I used to decorate these pages in my journal. So let's make some flowers. So what you will need is some coffee filters. I have these big white ones. That is for restaurants and bigger places that make big pots of coffee. But you can use ordinary ones that you have to your home brewer. That works. So, to do these ones, I have cut the paper like this, and I just cut it bigger because it's easier to hold on to when I do the flowers. I will show you one big and one smaller one. I did use a smaller one in this part, so I will do one of each to show you. So for these ones, I just took paper like this and kind of just folding them a bit uneven, kind of sun feather like. And then I decide how big I want them, and kind of something like that. Then I just squeeze this together and push them together like that. So then I'm taking a thread. You can see I have different threads here. So I'm just taking one of the threads. I'm taking the thinnest one first, just to keep this together while I'm painting. Maybe. And just make a knot. So the paper won't move. Cut this off. Don't need that. Then you can use this to the smaller one later on. Then you don't need to do more than one. So then you need to decide what shape you want on your bud or faded rose or whatever you like to make, and how you want it to look. I want mine flat as they are going into the journals. So I'm trying to squeeze them so they will become easier to use in the journal. Then on the back, I'm adding a bit of these threads that you can find in florist shops. And I have just painted it with some black paint to get them a bit different. And just take the amount you think you will have. cut them a little bit uneven, and then we are going to glue them down. And I'm kind of putting them inside some of these foldings so that they stay in place. I just want them to peek out so you can get the feeling of some of these middle stems in the flower. That's probably not the right word, but you know what I mean. So then I'm going to take some other threads. And do the same thing, just put them in place and make a knot. If you would like to have a more distinct stem, you can put a piece of wire in to this one, and then wrap around some flower tape or paper to make it look more like a real stem. I just kind of felt like this was nice to have, and you can make it, glue it down as you want, if you want a stem that is curved or something like that. And if you don't have the right color, don't mind that. You can just paint it with the color when you paint the rest of the flower. Let's take this one instead. Just so we get different shades of colors, and it was meant to be kind of like that. But I think I used up that brown one that I used on those. So see if we can make some anyway. Something like that. So then I took a piece of this kind of paper pieces that you can also put around flowers. They are not black then, they are kind of nature colored. And I have painted it black with a little gold on it. And I'm going to cover up the threads with it. So it looks a bit more like a stem from the flower. And I'm just squeezing that around. Put a little bit more glue on the piece that are left. And then I'm just continuing to follow the stem down a little bit. So it looks more like the stem on the flower. So then we are going to do the fun part, which is coloring the flower. So I'm going to take something that is not so and then I'm wetting this coffee filter properly. I don't want all the color on my table, so it will color something else. And then I'm just taking a brush and going for some watercolors. Move this in so you can see. And then I'm starting down here with some dark color, and I'm doing it on both sides so it will soak in properly. Putting in some more water so this will kind of go up and helping it a little bit on the way. And then I'm doing the same from the other side. And as this is wet now, it will follow the paper down. And depending on how dark you want it, you can stop there and just leave that to dry. And if you want it darker, you can just add more. And you can also do it several times. Let it dry and see how it looks. If you want it darker, just wet it again and put in some more color. Opening up some of the creases and checking if I want something more. But I think I will leave it like that. So then I'm taking the threads, doing the same thing, putting some color on them so they will get the color that I like. If you want them to be light, it's just to leave them. Or if you want them in green, just take green threads. This is just because I like the faded way they will look in my vintage romantic journal that I'm working on at the moment. And it always dries lighter than it looks, so it's better to do it twice than to do it one time too many. And then we leave that to dry. Put that aside. So let's reuse this that we have. And you don't need to kind of cut it in that shape that I did with these ones, kind of rounded. You can use it as it is and just squeeze it in different length and have it like just like this. And you can also make them a little bit more shaped. So we get this kind of pattern. Oops. Pattern on the edges. So the flower will be in another shape. And I'm putting, when I start, I put this backwards, and then I'm start to put it together. And then I'm doing the same on this one, put it back, so I don't see these in the front when I'm gluing it down. I want it to look like it's a rounded flower. So I'm squeezing those back, so we don't see them right away. And then again, taking a thread. Should we maybe do one with some wire? I think I can find my wire. Actually, if you don't have a wire, you can use a paper clip. Couldn't that be fun? Just so you can see how I'm kind of organizing my craft room at the moment, so even the table is in the wrong direction, so I thought I had my iron metal pieces on the side, but I didn't, of course. Bear with me. Few more days, and I hope that will be organized and good to go. So let's just put a little bit of glue on this so it stays in place. And put it somewhere kind of in the middle. And then squeezing this back down. And make a knot. It could actually be a bit fun with this copper color when I have these flowers. But if not, you can just cover it up with some textile or paper and just glue it around. So you get something that is more like a stem. Let's do that so you can see what I mean. So I'm squeezing the textile and turning the wire. Putting on some more glue and just squeezing it on to the stem. and make sure that the edge kind of stays. You can use a glue stick first if you want, then you will get it to stick right away. And then I think I will cut this. Like so. And let's do it a bit different. I'm taking just a piece of some tissue paper. Before I put that on, I will add another thread. Let's take this brown one. So I get a couple of threads anyway. I like the feeling of that. Then you can glue it to your hand, but it's better to not do that. So then I'm just putting this on top of the threads. And doing the same, squeezing it with the glue on, just to get it to stick. Then you can shape your flower as you want it. And if you want some of this also behind it, you can add that now. If you want something else, maybe some threads, you can add that too. So just squeezing it kind of a ball, or an oval, maybe I should say. And I'm gluing it on the back of the flower. That way we have some threads that peeks up, and you can also cut them. And you can leave it to dry a little bit in between these different things I do, so it's easier. Now I can almost rip up something I have glued, because I do it when it's not dry. But I wanted to show it to you a bit quickly. So there we have it. And let's take the paper again. So you can see it properly. And a bit more of the color. dabbing onto the threads and the stem. And again, if you would like to have maybe a little bit of green on the stem instead, you can add that now. Darken the thread a little bit. That's just how you want it. Squeezing a bit of water on it so it will soak up the color a bit better. And I'm folding these down. I want them to still be white, and then I can add the color. A lot of water and dab it on. We can add a little bit of blue so you can see how that looks. They don't need to be totally faded. Can give them a little bit of life. Thread is not liking me wetting it. Like that. So let's leave that to dry too. So as a little bonus, I thought I could show you another thing that I have made. So these are just old book pages, and I have just put on watercolor on them. So they get a little bit more brownish and greenish. So I thought we could do some leaves. These are real oak leaves that I picked outside. And I'm going to make some oak leaves. So let's take a pen. And then I'm just going around my leaf so I get the shape of the oak leaf, kind of as it is. Something like that. And then I'm going to cut it out. And we have an oak leaf. And I think it's a bit fun when you have this text behind it. And as you can see, I have put the color like veins that way on the paper. So when I cut it out, you get this shape. And I'm going for, you can see that it's a bit darker where we have the stem. So I'm just going in with some brown and black color. And you can also see that our veins going through these side shapes back to the middle. So try to look at your leaves and see where you can see shapes. There we go, and there we go. So you can see there are veins also in between the leaf itself. So there will be another one there, and up so. And then it was a bit darker on the one side. You can see that it's kind of having some mold on part of it. Like so. And I have missed a little bit of color on this side, so I'm just adding a little bit more brown to cover that up. It was a little bit too wet. Okay, I will dry these, and then I will get back to you so you can see the result of our flowers and leaves today. So my flowers are dry, so let's take a closer look. This is the big one we did. And you can squeeze it however you want. If you want it closer together, or maybe on a cover you want it to be more like a real flower. So that works for everything. And this is the little blue one we did with some white threads. And some threads hanging down. The same with that one, you can squeeze it together like a little bluebell if you would like to, or flatten it out and have it as a faded flower. So this is the real oak leaf that I showed you, and this is the one I made. And of course this is a bit special when it has the text on it, but it still is a bit fun. I ripped it a little bit and I squeezed it. As you can see, this isn't so flat. So shape them as you want them to maybe look like more like a real leaf. Then I did another leaf just with some edges on, and squeeze that together. And this is also coffee filter, so it looks like it's old and faded. And then yesterday I did this rose, kind of like a faded rose. The same way, I just squeeze it a little bit different, folded one of two or three of the leaves, so you can shape it as a real rose if you would like to, or flatten it out to have it in your journal. So I hope that helped, so you can make your own flowers. Just use your imagination and play with the colors, and I'm sure you will manage to get some really nice flowers. On this one I also did some sewing. That was just because I thought it was fun to do something different. But that's not necessary. A little bit too much maybe. So you can get it however you want. Just squeeze and play and make your faded flowers. Like that. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions, you know where to find me. So thank you. I will go back to organizing my craft room, and I will see you soon again. Bye bye from Sweden.